Bonjour, français 1. Dans ce chapitre, c'est unité 3, leçon 6. Nous allons parler du verbe êtres. Être means to be. And it's a verb whose conjugations must be memorized because it's such a common verb. And as you look at this chart of how it's conjugated, in other words, the forms that it has, in the present tense, you'll see that we've already been using it since last trimester. Now we're just going to formalize this learning a little bit more because in this chapter, we also talk about places in town. And this will enable us to continue our ability to describe not only ourselves and ask other people questions, but talk about and describe other people. Okay, so if you think back to first trimester when you did your presentation, Tout sur moi, you talked about your family and you gave some information about your family. Maybe you talked about a pet and gave some information about your pet. Okay, so this is continuing our building. Okay, we're kind of little building blocks to being more proficient in French. And this verb allows us to say things in complete sentences, which is a goal of the end of French 1. So here we have êtres. Okay, now as you can see, it looks different from the other verbs that we were learning in the previous chapter. This is not an ER verb. This is what's considered an irregular verb because if you look at all the different forms, it doesn't really follow a pattern. Okay, so that's what irregular means. And that's why I say you just have to memorize it. Okay, so starting on the singular side, singulier, we have je suis, tu es, il est, elle est, on est. Okay, so on that side, as you can see here with my little cursor, A-E-S is pronounced exactly the same as A-E-S-T. Okay, there is no vowel after this consonant, so the T is silent. And the S is silent too, right? So A. Il est, elle est. On, okay, so on is, here they translate it as we, but I find it helpful to translate it as one and then just kind of assume a little snooty posture. You know, one is French, one is English, okay? So if you're talking about someone in the third person, okay, it's very common in French to use this expression and it's not altogether snooty. It doesn't sound that way when you use it in French. But in order for you to get the feeling that on, just remember it as being one, like one does, okay? Because as you can see on the plural side, we have all the plural pronouns, okay, which we talked about in the other chapter. Nous sommes, okay? Vous êtes. So this S, you kind of drag it and make it, you say it because the E is here. Vous êtes. Ils sont, elles sont. Ils sont, elles sont. Okay, so those are all the conjugations, all the forms of the be verb. Now, this is a page that is in your module in Canvas. So I'm just going to go down here and read these aloud for you. So just a reminder that we have already learned several expressions with êtres. Je suis américain. Je suis américain. Tu es anglais? Sophie est française. Qui est? Qui est? Nous sommes de Spanaway. Nous sommes de Spanaway. Elles sont canadiennes. Elles sont canadiennes. Now, just a reminder that when you use êtres followed by an adjective, and nationalities are adjectives, the adjective must agree in gender and number. So if you're like, oh, Ms. Toulson, don't throw this at me. Just think back, this sentence, je suis américain. Would this be said by a boy or a girl? And how do you know? Okay, right. So this is said by a boy, je suis américain. Why? How do you know that? Because there's no E on American. If it was said by a girl, there would be an E at the end and it would be pronounced je suis américaine. Okay? So think about to when we did introductions and did this in French 1. So we're just building. We're going from just this side and now we're adding this side. So this is the focus of this chapter. So this week we're just going to work on êTRE, and then there's a little grammar video here from the book to help you as well. All right? Bon courage, bonne chance, au revoir.